here we are. We're in the Outer Banks, North Carolina, and a little bit of weather coming in, but it's good to be back. Got Croswait here in the background, and I think that's our little BADCO skiff that we're just now completing. We haven't seen the Gameboat in about 6 weeks, something like that, and this is actually going to be the biggest change that we've seen. Before it was just parts, and now a lot of these parts are coming together, the hull's out of the mold, some of the bulkheads are in. We're going to actually get to walk around it, see it, feel it, touch it, move around inside, start laying out where all the machinery is going to go, and all the pumps and, you know, water makers and just everything that makes this thing tick. So it's a big day, big time. Super excited to be seeing this thing, and let's go check it out, man.
Been a marriage.
A good one, you know.
Yeah. We haven't even had hull sex yet.
It's been really simple. It's been a very simple process. They're fishermen. We've got some boat building background. I understand their challenges, and they understand what we need. And I don't know, man. It's been pretty seamless.
It's been about as smooth as you could ask for.
Yeah.
Everybody's on the same page, laid back. It's been great.
Working together as a team and
trying to put out the best product we can.
Yeah. And even some of the oddball stuff we've requested, been no blowback, no pushback, and just want to try and figure out how to accommodate us. You know, we've done a couple things that are pretty different over the years, and they've worked for us, and so hopefully they'll continue to work here.
Maybe a few heavy sighs, but after the jobs are over, then we'll figure it out and make it happen.
Oh, nice. God, feel how solid this thing feels.
There's no flex.
Everything's cool. I mean, we got to walk around it, feel it, touch it, pretend like we're driving it, walk up and down the side. The thing's stiff like crazy. All that carbon fiber in there, even without any supports, the boat doesn't move. It's like a tank. And then the boys, they integrated a handrail going up the side. It kind of hides real well. It disappears in the side of the house and the brow area up there. And for safety walking up and down the sides, we got to finally check out the walkways, made sure those were wide enough and felt comfortable walking up and down the side. I don't know what we'd change.
I think it's pretty much spot on.
Pretty awesome for a 50-footer and having as much room as you got.
Yeah, I don't think we missed much, man.
I don't either. I think everything's pretty spot on what you guys wanted. And
well planned, well thought out. Dan did a great job making sure everything fits like it's supposed to.
Yeah, I think that's one of the big things I noticed is the precision and the fit on everything, you know, and how there isn't a tremendous amount of work, you know, once you get the part, putting it all together, and just proportions on a 50-footer. It's really hard to make a 50-foot Carolina boat look great. I know Anthony had a lot of input on the brow and stuff like that, getting the heights, and man, the thing, it looks good. Looks good sitting here. I can't wait to see it on the water.
I think we nailed it.
Man, these guys pretty well nailed it. Proportionally and everything, it's insane. It's all laid out really nice. Everything fits. Everything feels right when you're standing there. Looks like a really big 50, you know, when you're standing at the wheel. Good visibility in the cockpit. Heights on everything seem really good. It's pretty nice, man. They did a great job. The composite, it's ridiculously stiff. I mean, there's not even any supports, or there's no bulkheads or anything. There's zero flex. Things like a rock. We were just back there on the covering board bouncing on it, 220-pound guys, and it doesn't even move. And it doesn't weigh anything. Just a lot of thought went into so many aspects of it. Just giant access, door clears, you know, easily. It's going to lock back in place, so we got good access into here. And they came up with some really good gutters and drains and locks and gaskets, so no water intrusion. This came out awesome. We're going to have two 24-inch Garmins in here. We're going to have one in the overhead. All of our switches and everything are going to be sealed up in these boxes down here so the moisture doesn't get to them. I don't know. It's all pretty nice. Pretty excited. Badass. Awesome. Awesome. I don't know what I'd change right now. Pretty much right on. I know what I'd add. Little security to that ladder so I don't fall going down. That's it. Gotta be careful. None of this stuff's packed down.
You did it.
Only thing I'm not sure about is these gunnels are a little low.
They are a little low.
Thanks for the short guys like that.
Captain, if you need a new phone, take a picture of me. It'll be broke. And then we'll break that thing.
Same thing with me, brother. Yeah, the 50, the reason it's a perfect size for the World Tour is we were told a 46, and then Anthony changed it to a 47, and then it went to a 48, then it went to a 49, and lo and behold, now we're at 50. That's why, because it's the biggest boat that we can fit on the space that we got. I think we got about 8 or 10 inches of leeway on one end and maybe 3 or 4 outboard inches. All the time they spent coving these radiuses and the chine here, and it helps soften up that ride so you don't get that big heavy pound, you know, where the air pocket gets trapped in there. It just flows out real nice. You guys have done a great job, man. Every single thing we asked them to do. Unbelievable. It's got a really good entry.
There you go.
And it's gonna ride really soft. And the way that the guys have coved all of the lifting strakes and everything on it, it ought to make it real soft and not pound. And this was kind of basically your grandfather's design, somewhat, parts of it.
Our granddad built 27 sport fishing boats, and every one he built a little different. And our father built 6 boats as well from all the different boats, and every boat was built different, and they tweaked some things, and the entry for the best riding boats that we've been on was 42 degrees, so that was the sweet spot. So we had to work with DLBA to try and get our entry along with having to have enough hull bottom to make the boat ride and perform like it's supposed to. So between the two of us, we were able to come to a
compromise.
We were able to come to a compromise and to get the hull shape we have. And we're both satisfied and think it's going to be a amazing performing boat.
It looks pretty sick just sitting right here, and we're supposed to get 42 knots or something like that with it out of just 2 850 horsepower motors. So you know, and that's the reason we went with the power package, just a combination of everything thrown together. Got to keep the thing under 33,000 pounds. So it's tying everything together to get what we want and still perform and be lightweight and fit on the boat. A lot of stuff's got to go right, man. Yeah. And it's coming out ridiculous. Holy cow.
For 50, isn't it?
Oh yeah, no, it's ridiculous. Ridiculous. So nice. Yeah, I don't know what we should change, man. I wouldn't change anything. Morning. Good, how are you?
Right now we're the salon deck is getting welded up. It's going to be core in between the framework. The core is an Ida core. It helps keep sound deadening down, so when you're in the salon, you don't hear the inches coming through there, but you get the stiffness with the aluminum in there, so we don't have to have any supports going through there.
Yeah, it's solid and it's quiet. And I got down to the lazarette, the rudder tables and all that stuff came together. They're all solid like a rock, and struts are all in. We put the high-speed struts in. What are those things called?
CJR.
The CJR struts, and rudders are going in. Got to see those, and looked at the transducer pockets, and those are giant.
They're huge.
Huge.
What a cool boat. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah, coming out super clean. You know, it's solid. Boat's super solid. Seems like it's just the way we laid it out, man. It's still got a long ways to go, but I don't know how you beat it. These guys are all over it. You're on top of it, huh? Thank you, guys. Beautiful, dude. Solid. You don't get more solid. I'll guarantee you that.
We're going to be lifting the 50 through chain plates, 4 chain plates on the 175. We made some jigs to make it easier for us, but it's like basket weaving, and you got to get it right, or bad things can happen.
We don't like bad things.
We don't like bad things. No, we don't.
For those of you who don't know what a chain plate is, chain plates are basically a built-in set of travel lift belts. We build them out of carbon fiber, unidirectional fiber that's laid beam to beam down the hull sides, underneath the bulkheads and underneath the stringers, so that when the boat is lifted, this internal strap holds the strength of the boat and everything's pulling straight up evenly.
Pretty impressive, guys. Extra heavy, it's what I need. We're gonna put it through it, it's for sure.
Steve has a certain way he wants his bait well done, and we're able to take a plug that we have and modify it and go through it. So now we got our heads wrapped around how we're gonna build it, and it ought to turn out just the way he wants it.
Yeah, the drains and supply, those are, it took us 30 years to figure out how to build, we think, one of the better tanks around and be able to incorporate it into this boat. Even though it's not a giant tank, you still use all the same components and design, and it can be switched over from tuna tubes to a regular tank, when we're putting mackerel or something like that in it. And just getting the drains right and being able to evacuate the tank properly, plus the volume of water that's going through it when the tubes, able to evacuate that with no issues. We'll look at the pictures and we'll draw it out.
Is the plexi shaped, or is it?
It can be straight, right across. It doesn't matter. It can, whatever's easiest for you guys to do, but we always had it straight. We just cut it out and make it straight across.
And the big drain in the middle.
Big drain in the middle.
Goes into the box, or do you
That's
do
the
the side drains?
Well, there's only one side drain.
Okay, so it's only one side.
Just on one end is fine. And there can be the one away from the gate, or wherever it works best for you guys with what's below the deck. But it can be in one corner and then one in the bottom. And then those will just go into just a small manifold, and just make the manifold as big as you can when you glass it to the back of the boat, and we'll call that a box. And if it's on, that'll just work as the main drain, and then when the tubes are in, we'll open the one in the bottom also. But when it's just a tank like this, this will be the only drain. And you can either have it go straight down, or you can have it 45 or 90 or however you want off the bottom. Only thing I ask is, like on this one, where it comes out the bottom, we have a piece of hose pretty close in case somebody drops a pair of pliers or a fish head gets stuck in it or something in that corner, so I can take it apart without using a Sawzall. I need access.
Ask me how I know.
Yep, and then this piece will be screwed in with however many into the G10, and we can pull that whole thing out, and the PVC tube and everything will lift out, so we can get at it from the top here, but still needs a way to get to it from the bottom. And then the PVC tube, the one in the bottom, just a little bit bigger than this, and it just machine fit in. So if this is the pipe, you got a pin that sticks out, and you pull that pin up, and the whole thing comes up with it, and then you lock it into the plexi, so it'll pull up and twist. And then when you want, and now all the water's going out the bottom because it's raised up. And then to make the thing work, you just lift up the candy cane, spin it, and then drop it, and then this goes down into that sleeve. Then the water goes up to this height and spills over the top, and when it spills over the top, it goes into the drain. So it's down like that, the water's spilling into the tube, and then when you want to drain this tank, the pin's sticking out, you just pull the whole thing up and lock it. And now that much is on the bottom, and all the water's going out of the tank. But we'll look at the pictures. I know we've got the pictures up there.
So the flying gaff storage, that's something that is a Anthony Steve request. There'll be a 12-inch flyer, a 10-inch flyer, and a cupboard in the cockpit ready to go at all times. There'll be 2 on each side. So in order to be able to keep our structural integrity of the lifting back bulkhead, we built a carbon tube to be able to handle with a divider in it, to be able to handle the flyers and still keep our structure where we need it.
It's literally a couple ounces. Like 5 ounces. Oh yeah. And those are gonna be set up so they're already rigged. So the lines will fit up in there along with the gaff poles and the gaff heads. And all that you gotta do is grab it by the bend in the gaff head and pull it out, and it's fully rigged and ready to go. So if we do get one, giant fish that makes a bad mistake right away, we can get on it real quick and hopefully at least get a couple shots at it. Paint shed.
So we're really working on our last composite parts, which is the accommodation soles. So what you saw today was the CNC cutting out the floors. It pre-cuts the bevels in to fit the whole shape, so we're not going to have to do a whole lot of shaping once they get infused and dropped in.
Oh, nice. 3-axis CNC machine. Cutting the foam for some of the forward decks. When they draw it up, I'm into the tolerances. It's something like same as a human hair or pretty close to it. I mean, it's ridiculous.
The other thing you saw was the deck drains. So we're making them out of carbon fiber to save some weight instead of stainless. Most likely they'll be clear coated, and the drain system on this boat is a lot bigger than most, so that water can evacuate out, and when they're backing up a fish and you're not sitting there floating around in a bathtub in the cockpit.
So you overlaid the pattern that you pulled off the physical boat versus what the drawing is.
Right. Just to verify and make sure we didn't have anything way out of whack.
Exactly.
And
But that's the best way to get it to fit, huh?
Yeah. Okay.
It's better a little loose than too tight
Right.
when
Right.
you're
if I
tabbing
make
it
it too
and
loose,
do all
you're
that.
in there
Yeah.
trying to pack it. If they can scrape fit it right to where it's perfect, that's better for us. You're going to better fit, tighter boat, less flex, everything.
Less noise.
Yeah.
It weighed nothing. Oh, perfect. It's exactly what he wanted.
It's pretty, huh?
Yeah, it is pretty.
Stupid light in it.
Oh my gosh, that's just ridiculous.
And that's a good bond.
Yeah.
That's a good bond.
It's like 10 sheets of paper or something, huh? Solid, good infusion.
That's the keel.
Wow.
Drains.
Yeah, you see the infusion. It's what ties it all together,
And
inner and outer core.
And lamp, there's no way you get that good a bond. No way.
See it everywhere.
Resin nails tying it together.
Isn't that crazy? Great job, guys. Every one of them looks the same. It's insane. Look at that flow, huh?
Yeah, perfect. Perfect.
Just perfect. Great job. And Dan, he didn't want to get in the photo over here, but he's one of the driving forces too as far as all the design work goes. And we had a little meeting and discussed some upcoming work that's going to be done, and seems like it's all going good.
So the next couple months, what's going to be happening, next week we'll be post-curing the hull and the bridge. In order to get the strength out of the resins, recommend post-curing 180 degrees for 8 hours. And when we do it, you got to come up 20 degrees every hour. If you shock the system, if you go straight from what the ambient temperature is now all the way to 180 degrees, you'll shock the system and you'll put micro fractures in the resin. So you got to bring it up 20 degrees every hour, hold it 8 hours, and then bring it back down in order to keep the resin from fracturing like that. After post-cure, we'll be working on fairing painting, inside engine room, exterior. Once all that's complete, then we can start installing systems, pre-wiring, And as that is going on the hull, the same thing will be going on the top sides, so that when we're ready to install motors, fuel tanks, all of the above, we'll take her outside, we'll put all that in with the crane, and then put the cabin on and bridge all at the same time. So a lot will happen in a matter of a day.
When does all the interior trim work start coming together?
That'll happen when that goes on. So we'll start veneering all the parts pieces now that our salon deck's done, and then after that, then the deck will go on. We can finish all the bulkheads and get all that faired in and painted, and the trim work will be last.
Yeah, I think one of the things that surprises me the most, I always allocate, coming here and spending 8 or 9 hours, and we had everything done in so much detail in the early on meetings that we'd get up almost everything done, it seems like, in about 3 or 4 hours, and it's just very minor stuff, but it's just getting the fine details to where it's as close to being the way that we want it. And then when the parts come out and I see it, there's hardly anything we change. You guys are doing a great job, and it's a great team of working together. Amazing, absolutely amazing. Thank goodness for this air conditioning. That was kind of brutal. Well, we're wrapping it up here. I always think, like I was saying, man, it always seems like it's going to take me 8 or 9 hours here, and these guys are on it. They listened really well to all of our initial meetings, and they put it all into play, and they didn't goof anything up. A lot of times when you explain stuff to people, their interpretation of what you're trying to explain to them is different than what the end result, and we just didn't have that here. So we're gonna be getting out of here a couple hours early, and then spend the night, get up early in the morning, off to Viking, back on the airplanes again, go through the Viking factory on Friday morning, check out that 38. It's really coming along. Then hop on a plane and head to the Azores. So it's always a whirlwind, but right now it seems like everything's coming together. Here we go, man. Never ending. The only constant is change.